What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty. I got a new special guest here on this podcast with me. Bill may join, and so may Rob later on while we're doing this podcast. But I got another head coach on here, and we got Coach Baker of the Voyagers in the building. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Smitty. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Can't wait to go through this. Main reason why I threw you on here, as we was discussing right before this, is out of all the coaches, in my opinion, I think you know the most about these college prospects, man. You really do a great job breaking them down and just putting a lot of work in on just understanding their styles and things like that, and just recapping the team. I think you'll be great when we go over the schedules. How do you feel about that, man? You think you're the most prepared coach currently right now?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I've been geeking out over the college series for a while now, and you've seen some of the spreadsheets I've put together. I'm kind of a spreadsheet nerd, and I've really enjoyed seeing the prospects coming in and seeing all the different attributes and how they're lining up, and really excited to see how it all comes together on the field for them.
Yeah, man, we had one heck of a game. And speaking of, oh man, just forgot I was supposed to throw that in here. Let me see if I can add that in here because I was supposed. Hold up, guys. That was the one thing I forgot to add, man. Let me see. Scene. Excuse me for that. So I gotta add another scene. My bad, guys. Did I throw it in? Yeah, yes, I did. So should populate on the screen in a little bit. Gotta find there it is. All right, guys, my bad for that, but here we are. This is the topic we're supposed to get into right here. Let's talk about that game that happened on Monday here. LSU versus Miami. Final score was low scoring. Final score was 16-13, but very great game. Was our biggest turnout. What was your thoughts on this game here, Coach Baker?
I think it lived up to what my expectations were. I thought it was going to be a defensive game on both sides of the ball, and that's what we got. I think a little bit surprised on Miami's side not to see a little bit more offense, especially on the ground. With Ray Brown, I had higher expectations for him in this game, but man, overall, it came down to the wire. It was a great way to start the college series.
Yeah, man, I was I had a couple of shockers, just like you, more so the positive side for LSU. Of course, coming into this college series for LSU, a lot of people had questions about Xander Gold Jr., about if he was going to be able to have this offense be productive running the football, but he came out swinging. I mean, the average doesn't say it, but just looking at his play from that game was definitely something special. 22 carries for 65 yards, nothing really special in terms of yards per carry, but he was getting it done. He was a tough guy to bring down, running through guys, and he gave Josh Hardy a hard time throughout the entire night. John Bales also impressed me with his accuracy starting out the game. Finished it a little bit with a more average well, not so average. It's still a really solid game by John Bales. Threw the one interception. Of course, that was the pick six by Lito Loso. Lito Loso really shaping out to be the player that we kind of expect him to be at that cornerback position. And as you said, the running game for the Miami Hurricanes was just not there. What's your thoughts on Ray Brown compared to Amir Williams? Amir Williams only had 3 carries. But he had 11 yards. Actually, I think it was like 13. I'm not mistaken. Should have put that down on this graphic. But he looked more explosive when he had the ball in his hands. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking we would mostly see Williams in the return game, and then on some third down, situations as well, catching out of the backfield. So good to see him getting some carries there too. I think they're both two really good backs in that backfield. I'd like to see them split more carries. Get the ball in both of their hands and give both of them the opportunity to make plays. You definitely saw with Amir Williams on the one play, he had a nice little juke move there on the sidelines and cut it upfield. So he has some skills. Both of them are talented, and I think both of them can do really great things for Miami going forward.
Yeah, and another thing to highlight about this game, LSU, both defenses looked great, except for Miami for the most part in the beginning of the game due to the fact that they were playing zone. Hopefully they don't play zone from here on out often like they did at the start of that game. But still, despite that, they were still able to keep this game close. I think that says a lot about this Miami defense. But as for LSU, their pass rush was just vigilant. They just kept coming through, blowing past the linemen. The submitted prospects, for the most part, were holding it down with Frank Champion and Connor Hawk. But man, that D line of LSU is looking pretty scary. What's your thoughts on that D line? You think they're going to be a top defensive unit?
Yeah, most definitely. They looked like they were just overpowering Miami's offensive line there. Yeah, I really thought we were going to see the DBs getting into the backfield a lot more too in their preseason game. I think they had around 10 tackles for loss in the backfield. So I don't think they had the opportunity though, because that LSU defensive line was, they were putting it on them, and they were putting it on them quick and often.
Yeah, man, it was a great game for sure. DJ White, had a little bit of off game. We'll have to wait to see how they bounce back next week. But LSU with a big win. Final score, once again, 16-13. If you missed it, go back and watch it. We had over 800 viewers. Huge outing for us. Hopefully we can keep that up and be consistent, because, that was a blockbuster game for sure, for as low scoring but entertaining as that game was. Moving on, let's talk about both of these units, though. LSU and Miami. Let's talk about LSU first. After that performance, do you feel that LSU is going to be another playoff team for the second year in a row?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say they're not going to be with that performance. Coming in.
Think you cut out, Coach?
How about now? You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be in the playoffs. It's still early in the season, obviously, but on the offensive side of the ball, I think they had a really good game. When you take a look at Miami's defense, you're probably not going to see a lot of teams putting up big numbers on Miami. So, given that, I think the offense looked solid and good enough to put some points up on the board against most of the teams. And that defense, if that defense keeps playing the way that it played in this game, I think they're a lock for the playoffs.
Yeah, and speaking of that, let's talk about Miami now. Miami, after this loss, it was, of course, a grade A talent team that they faced here in their first game in LSU, which we expected it to be a tough-fought battle all the way to the end in the first place. But after that loss and their lackluster performance on the offensive side of the ball, do you think Miami could be a top-4 playoff team this year?
That's going to be a tough one. They still have a lot to prove, I think, on the offensive side of the ball, and mostly pass protection. Not having time in the pocket, not having that time for receivers to work a little farther downfield and get open is going to be critical for them. So if that doesn't get fixed, then who knows? They may be on the outside looking in. But again, defense. I think defense is key in this league, and it'll be key for this entire season. And Miami has a good one. That defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. Lito Loso out there got his first pick, and it was a pick six. If you go back and look at the chat, I actually called it about 3 or 4 plays before that, so you're welcome, Lito. But yeah, the defense is going to keep them in a lot of games, and if their offense can do enough to put some points up on the board, they could sneak in there. But it's going to be a battle for them, I think.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that all turns out. As we saw from last year, I think the most losses you can have for our college series to be in the playoffs is 4. LSU squeezed in there at number 4 last season. Of course, got eliminated by Clemson in their first game, but they squeezed in with an 8-4 record. Miami, I guess I can ask you this: Do you see Miami losing 4 or more games? There, Coach?
Yeah. So with one loss right out of the gate, they very well could. There are still some very tough games that they're going to have this season. There are a lot of good teams out there. We saw some really great things out of Texas in the beginning with their preseason game. They look like a powerhouse. and there are still, several teams that we haven't even seen play yet. So there's a lot still to unfold and a lot to learn about other teams for the rest of the season. And I have no doubt that they're going to have some very tough matchups. And yeah, I mean, it could happen. They could, drop 4 or 5.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see how the rest of the season unfolds for both of these teams. It would definitely be crazy to see Miami get into the playoffs. Of course, a really hyped up team, a lot of prospects, the most submitted prospects committing there. Of course, it'll be a lot of excitement for all of those players if they can get to that stage. Great defense. Let's see if they can get that offense later on in gear. As for speaking of the other teams, let's go ahead and get a look at the upcoming schedule this week. Shout out to C. Beazle for this tough graphic. We'll be using this for our social media, and this will be dropping on our Instagram and social media pages, so you guys can once again get a look at this. But if I'm gonna keep this up while we talk about it. But we're gonna go, of course, in order here to talk about which teams, our predictions, who we think's gonna win, and of course the time and everything. So first, tomorrow, we got 2 games, 6 p.m. Eastern. Every game will be on YouTube this year. We did Twitch a little bit at the beginning of this year, but everybody really wanted us to stay on YouTube. We had the most viewership on YouTube, so we decided to stay on YouTube for all of our games, and then go there once we get much bigger on YouTube and we can transfer our following over. But our first game at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be calling this one solo dolo by myself. And it's going to be a rematch of last year's game where Ohio State takes on Oklahoma. Last year, Ohio State absolutely blew out Oklahoma, and in that game, that's pretty much where Drew Brewer made a name for himself and got his name, the Bear. Do you think it's going to be the same kind of game, or will it be different here as Oklahoma, number 8 ranked team, and they got some pretty interesting prospects on the team there?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be a lot closer than some people think. I have Oklahoma and Ohio State rated about the same on my board. Oklahoma doesn't have that many submitted prospects, 2 to Ohio State's 9, I think. So it may come down to kind of what that team looked like before the submitted prospects were added to it. But this is a game that could be the first of many high scoring games for us. Just because there's going to be, I think, a little bit more offense coming into this game than we saw in that defensive battle with LSU and Miami.
Yeah, this game's I think it's going to be completely different. Like you said, I think it might be a high scoring game though, but I think it will be completely different than what we saw last year. Tyler Miller was the quarterback for Oklahoma last year. I just feel like they got so much of a better quarterback right now. Daryl Johnson, who participated in Kerblam King's series for the guys, OGs who've been paying attention while the RFL season was going on this year. But that's a great quarterback. Right now, he's one of the highest, I think if not the highest overall rated quarterback right now in the college series overall wise in college here. So I think that's going to really elevate Oklahoma's game. Oklahoma was already a great team without any submitted guys, so that alone makes me think that this is going to be a really good team this year. Big reason on why I moved them up to 8. Ohio State, we already saw what they could do. They came out with a bang. Just not really too much to say. Just 2 great teams going at it. Who I think will win this one, I still have a little bit of a leeway leaning towards Ohio State pulling out a close one and, like you said, a high-scoring game. But the game following that one at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Florida State, number 23, taking on number 25, West Virginia. The Mountaineers hosting the Seminoles. What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, I think I've made it pretty well known that I'm a big West Virginia fan this season. I know you had them ranked down there pretty low. I think 25, Smitty, but I think they're going to be a top 10 team, mostly because of Leo Moon. He's a guy that I have rated my number 1 quarterback for this season. I think having a number 1 rated guy at the most important position on the field can win you a lot of games. I think the defense can do enough to keep him in. And I think Leo Moon can take a game over and put points on the board. So I definitely think West Virginia is going to have a good game here. They're going to get the victory and open a lot of eyes, I think, with their offensive firepower.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to agree with you here in terms of who I think is going to get the dub here. I think the West Virginia, of course, on top of it, having home field advantage. And it got quite a few decent prospects. One, of course, as you mentioned heavily, Leo Moon. I think he's really going to do a great job here for Florida State. If I'm not mistaken, for Florida State, I'll have to look into it, but I believe Jeremy Moore transferred there to be a quarterback. We'll have to see what he can do there. His overall wasn't that high. And so because of that, I kind of feel that West Virginia has the advantage and they'll come out with the dub here. So I'll say West Virginia in this game. Might be actually a pretty high scoring game as well. Could even possibly be a blowout in my opinion. We'll have to see. So following the games on Thursday, tomorrow. After that, on Friday, we have an 8 p.m. game, and this is an SEC matchup here between Texas A&M and Tennessee. Texas A&M unranked. They've never been a part of the RFL College Series, but they are now, and they are going to be on the road here to take on number 18 Tennessee. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this one is going to be a tough one for me to call. They have about the same number of submitted prospects, I think, and I've got them rated pretty close together. As far as the prospects go, keeping an eye on Connor Baker, I've got him 11th overall for my prospects. Tennessee, of course, has Luke Poore at QB. I've got him rated up there pretty high, so he definitely has some firepower and can put up some points. I'm going to flip a coin here and go with Tennessee. Just based on Luke Poore and my expectations for him to have a good performance in this game.
Nothing really too much to say here. I think it's going to be a great matchup, same conference team matchup rivalry here. I think that Tennessee, though, is going to pull it off. Big reason on why I got them ranked and Texas A&M not. But Texas A&M, main reason why I didn't put them up there, I don't know what they are capable of. They weren't a part of the college series, as I mentioned last year, so there's nothing really to go off here. And like you said, Luke Poore looking like an interesting prospect. He might be able to get the job done there at home. The next game, we have number 11 Auburn hosting Nebraska, another team that is new to the college series. Thoughts on this one? That'll be the following day on Saturday. Actually, 7 of these games in a row now. These next 7 games will be all premier games. So with me saying that, guys, these ones won't have any commentary over it, okay? But they'll be all streamed at certain times on Saturday. So make sure you guys are aware of that. But what's your thoughts on that matchup?
For me, this one's pretty straightforward. I think Auburn takes this game pretty handily. It may not be a blowout by any means, but I think they can put up 30 plus points, and Nebraska I think is going to struggle to put up 20 or so. So easy win here I think for Auburn. Ashton Collins at halfback, I've got my eye on him. I expect him to have a big game, and Nebraska just doesn't have much in the way of submitted prospects, doesn't have much in the way of firepower, but we'll also be keeping an eye on Jeremy Moore there at quarterback.
And that's where I messed up. I said Jeremy Moore went to Florida State. I forgot he transferred out of Florida State. That's where he originally went. Did not get the starting spot. So Jeremy Moore is going to be the one taking on Auburn, as you mentioned there. And just like you, I honestly feel like Auburn should have this one in the bag. And on top of that, they got home field advantage. So Auburn, I'm definitely going with them there. Same time, same day, we've got Florida taking on Washington State. Florida ranked 15th in the nation in the RFL College Series. What's your thoughts on this one?
I'm definitely going Florida here. I think this is a no-brainer. Even though they're on the road, I think they just have a better squad. Taking a look at their prospects here, Trevor Campbell, got him not super high rated, but he's got a guy that's got a really strong arm. He's got good deep accuracy. He's got good play action as well. So I think if they can get some run game established and let him work off of that with the play action and take some shots deep, I think they can definitely put up some points, but should easily handle this game and get an easy victory here.
Yeah, I would have to go with Florida here too. Washington State, not even a ranked team in real life. I honestly don't feel like they have the prospects on that team. The players on that team from their base to be able to really handle or stick with Florida, but we'll have to see. Florida, I got them winning this one as well. The same time, same game again. We got 3 games going on at 1 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday. Iowa, number 24, taking on Notre Dame, number 13. Thoughts on that one?
Notre Dame. Well, you got to go with the Golden Domers here. Ranked higher, of course, but also more talent on the team, I think. Halfback Finnemore should have a decent game here. Very fast guy. He submitted 99 overall speed, but also has good acceleration and agility and can break some tackles. He's a pretty elusive guy, too, so expect a lot out of their backfield. I do think they will run the ball quite a bit, but if not, they've got two solid receivers as well, in Stevens and Levy. Stevens at 6'5" and Levy at 6'1". Stevens is a speedster there, and look for Levy to kind of be the, kind of that zone buster, finding those empty spots in the zone and making catches in the open field. So Notre Dame here takes this one pretty easily at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Notre Dame here in this one. Iowa really didn't have too many, prospects. Well, they got 3 prospects, I believe. Not many prospects at all on this team. And Iowa's a pretty decent team in real life, but I don't think they're going to be able to stick with the Fighting Irish. I got Notre Dame in that one. We go on to the next 3 4 p.m. slotted games, and we start out with Bills, Wisconsin Badgers, number 20, hosting the unranked Utah. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, Bill, you're in luck. I'm going to go with your Badgers here. I just don't think Utah has the talent to keep up with them, even though Wisconsin's rated pretty low there. I do think they come out of here with a victory, that take advantage of that home field advantage, and come out with probably about it may be close. I'd say under 10 points, but I think they get the victory.
Yeah, not really too much to say here. Even though Wisconsin only won 2 games last year, I know Bill doesn't like to hear that, but the Badgers, I think they're going to be already halfway better than what they were after this game last year. So I think they get the dub here. They should get it pretty handedly, especially, like I said, with home field advantage does make a difference. I think they'll get it done. Next game, we have Washington, number 19, taking on number 12, Michigan Wolverines. Thoughts on that game?
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be the best QB matchup of Week 1, possibly, with Corey Polley, with Michigan going up against Jaden Romanelli with Washington. Romanelli's my sleeper potential Heisman candidate here. I really like his stats, his submitted prospect stats. So look for a lot of passing in this game. I do expect Michigan to sling it quite a bit, looking for Darius Hodge often. And, Romanelli's got some weapons out there as well. Ryan LeCavalier out there at wide receivers, a speed guy. He can catch, so he'll be getting open downfield as well. And this should be a shootout, I think. High-scoring game, but I think Michigan takes it in this one, and a very, very close one. May come down to a last-minute field goal, hopefully not a last-minute punt block for a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm agree with you pretty much on all those accounts, man. I think Michigan's going to be able to pull this one out. Not going to say it's going to be easy, though. It might be a close one, but I'm going to go with the Wolverines in that one. Next game, the final game, well, one of the 3 games, the final one that we're recapping here for 4 p.m., we got Minnesota, number 22 ranked team in the College Series, going up against new College Series team, Oklahoma State. What's your thoughts on this one?
Not a huge fan of Oklahoma State, but I do think they have some talent on that team. Connor McCain at quarterback. I've got him not as a very high-rated quarterback, but he's got a strong arm. He checks all the boxes for accuracy. He's got some speed, too. I don't know if he's set up to be a scrambling quarterback, but if he does get out in space and if he does have to tuck it down and scramble, he can get up and move a little bit. So definitely an opportunity there for Oklahoma State to have a statement game here and get that home victory against a ranked team. I'm gonna go with OSU in this one.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go. This is a hard one. I'm actually gonna go with OSU too. I think they do got some great talent. They got the highest overall rated running back there with Thomas Denibus. I think he's gonna probably have a great game against Minnesota. So I think that it'll be another close one, but they'll pull it out. So I got OSU in that one. And, of course, I know this is a game you're going to be hyped up to watch to cap off the Saturday premiere games. as Texas, number 9, takes on number 10 UCLA. I think this is going to be a really good game, but what's your breakdown on this one?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one to call. This is, for me, is a 50-50. It's a coin flip. I have both of these teams finishing in the top 5 for the year, just because they have a lot of talent, I think, on both sides of the ball. We've seen both of them already in the preseason. Texas looked quite a bit better than UCLA, but again, that's preseason. Those games don't count. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's payback time. I remember UCLA coming into our house many years ago for the Route 66 game, 66-0. So it's time for the Longhorns to go to their house and put 66 on them. I'll take the Horns. I'll take the Horns, but in a close one. It won't be 66-0. It'll be a lot closer than that.
All right. Well, I can assume that if we have you on almost every week for these, that you're probably going to go with the Longhorns every time, no matter who they play.
That's
UCLA and Texas. I think I agree with you on most of those accounts. I think it should be a close game. And I do feel that, I got Texas ranked just slightly above UCLA for a reason. I think that they're going to be able to pull it out in a close one. So we'll see how that one goes. On Sunday, we got 2 premier primetime games. First, starting out with number 5 ranked Alabama traveling to California to take on USC, number 17th ranked team in the college series. Thoughts on that game?
Roll Tide.
Well, Rob just hopped in.
Who's that?
That's Rob mixing here. So you can go ahead and start it out, Baker, and then I'll throw Rob in to talk about his infamous Roll Tide elephants here.
Yeah, well, roll Tide. I think the Tide's going to get rolled in this one. USC, I have finishing in the top 10, potentially in the top 5. They have a lot of submitted prospects, and I have, I think, 8 of their submitted prospects in my top 100 players overall. So high expectations here. Tariq Bridges, the second at cornerback, is my number 1 overall rated prospect. He took the mantle from Lito. Lito was the number 1 prospect for several weeks until Bridges took him over. But they've got some talent, talent at wide receiver with Dorian Cope, talent in the defensive backfield with JoJo Shalizzi, and I think Gonzalez is going to be a very good quarterback for USC this season. I expect them to be able to put up a lot of points, and I also expect them to be able to hold teams to to 20 or 15, 20 points a game. If they can keep teams under 20, and if they can obviously put up more than 20, I think that's a recipe for them to be in the top 5 at the end of the season. So USC gets the win here against Alabama.
All right, so those sound like fighting words to you, Rob. How you feel about that?
Roll Tide, man. Look, I only know a little bit of the information, man. I know that Alabama got some generics placed onto the team, man, and they already had a couple of user submitted guys, man. I just think that this might be one of the teams that you don't want to turn your cheek on, man. He might get knocked out messing around with Bama this year, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. But USC is definitely a great school. Really love the analysis here by Coach Breaker, man. So it's definitely gonna be a hard-fought battle. But don't forget what we did to those boys last year, man. Don't forget the massacre that happened last year, man. So yeah. I'm looking for that to be a great game, man.
I think it's pretty decent breakdowns. He had Baker talking about, of course, the prospects in depth, and of course, Rob talking about the massacre, as he says, that happened last season. And in terms of who I think's going to win this one, I'm gonna have to side with the Bama squad, man. I do think that Roll Tide is going to be able to get it done, despite being on the road. Because honestly, that team, even if they didn't get any submitted prospects, were stacked, and they got some. And the ones that they got, I think, are especially from their overalls and some of their attributes that they got in. I think has taken them a little bit even further in terms of what they can do on the field. So I think they're going to get that done on the road. I think it should be a really good, close game, though. But, Rob, you'll be calling this one. You got Oregon, number 14, taking on number 16, Penn State, another one of your favorite teams in college football. I guess I'll start with No, I'm gonna still start with Baker, and then I'm gonna have you follow up just to see what Baker says here.
No problem. No problem.
All right, so this is going to be, I think, the second game to watch this week as far as quarterbacks go. You've got Owen Jack and James Ramos going at it. Uh, both of these quarterbacks I have rated in the top 10 overall for prospects. So should be a lot of fireworks here. I'm going to give the edge to Oregon, I think. I think they have, well, I don't know. Man, it's going to be a close one, I think. I think this one comes down to the wire. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give Oregon the edge here.
All right, Rob.
I'm looking for this to be a good game, man. I really like where both of these teams are placed in the rankings. Oregon is definitely that slept-on school, man. You gotta love Oregon. They have some user-submitted prospects that are looking pretty good. But you know what, man? There's a particular guy in the chat, man, that I'm liking, man. I'm liking this guy James Ramos, man. James Ramos, he wants to be a Cougar. He's been talking, man, that he's going to save Penn State. So, James Ramos, I haven't been talking to you because I don't want to tamper and everything, man. But look, man, I'm watching you this week, and I want to see what you do. I think that Penn State definitely will have the upper hand, obviously, because they are the home team. But don't sleep on Oregon, man. I'm looking at these guys, too, and I think that these guys may bang out as well, man. So this should be a very, very good game as well. And, this is just those middle of the division, middle of the rankings guys. Teams that are just trying to get that spotlight and get some of that shine off of Baylor and Miami and LSU and everything, man. So I'm looking at these guys heavy as well.
Yeah, watch out for Vincent Valentine in this one too. I mentioned the quarterbacks, but it may come down to halfback play, and I think he's a solid one. And if he has a really good game, that may give the edge to Penn State.
Yeah, I'm because you guys are breaking down the game so well. I think all I'm going to just do from here on out is just say who I think is going to win because honestly, you guys pretty much took any thought process that I had in my mind right out of my mouth. So I'm just going to go with Oregon. I think that Oregon is going to win a close one. But we move on to this is Monday. Monday we have two more premier primetime games, and we started out with Mississippi State, who is back in the college series. Well, they were in the college series last year. They were supposed to be out last year, mid-season, but they stayed. So I guess Mississippi State never left. And they're going to be taking on another state team in Michigan Stink. I said stink. Michigan State. Hopefully they don't stink here in this one. They're ranked number 21. Who do you guys think is going to win this one?
Mix, go ahead, man. I'll let you start off this one.
Man, honestly, I don't really know too much about these two teams. I know we got a couple of players on Mississippi State, I believe. I think I only saw two when I had looked at the depth chart or whatever for them. So I'm not really sure what they've acquired.
Stop myself from laughing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Michigan. That's crazy. But yeah, we gotta definitely capture that one, man. But yeah, and Michigan State, is a proven school. I don't remember their record last year, Smitty. Do you remember offhand?
Off the top of my head, I can't.
I felt like they balled a little bit.
They did at times. I know the running back. I don't know how you say his last name, Lewerke or something like that. He was balling, but I can't remember if they played in a bowl game last year or not. But I don't think they did. They might have.
Both of these teams have a lot to prove, and I'm not going to get too long-winded on it because I absolutely don't know anything about these two teams this year. But I think that this definitely has the making of one of those defensive games you see. It might be a low-scoring game, so we'll see what happens. But never know. Maybe they'll shock us, man.
You know what? I just remembered before you talk, Baker. My bad. But Michigan State was actually terrible record-wise last year. I remember now. They were like one of the last-ranked teams until like the final few games when we jumped over to Madden 20. So that was my last that's what I remember now from them. Thanks for that, Mitch.
That's 3-9, yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Yeah, stink. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what a mascot would look like for Michigan Stink.
Michigan Stink, right?
Well, of course, it looks like they'll keep their same color, green.
A big green turd on the side of the screen.
I think Mississippi State takes this one. They only have 3 submitted prospects from what I can remember. Trip Baker at quarterback. Trip Baker was a tricky one because he's a guy that submitted attributes that were more along the lines of a running back. So that's going to kind of depend on what his base stats were for the player he was built on. So who knows? He's kind of an unknown, but I guess we'll find out when he takes on Michigan State on the road. I'll go with Mississippi State just because they have the submitted prospects and Michigan stinks. So
yeah, Michigan literally only has a quarterback. Can't remember who it is that transferred there. I know it was a quarterback that didn't get to start where they originally wanted to commit at. And so that's the only prospect literally that they got there. They got some generic guys that are over there, but I didn't see them really making too much of a difference. I got Mississippi State as well in this one. Yeah, and so the following game, that same day at 8 p.m. Eastern on September 7th, we've got Baylor finally in action, taking on Ole Miss, who was another team who didn't really perform last year. I think Ole Miss had a 3-9 record. So thoughts on this game?
You want me to roll, or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey. I think Ole Miss has a lot to prove. Kiata's talking in the chat and everything. He's always here. I see him. He has a lot to prove with that team. They only have three guys. I really like that name, Sincere Brown, too, to see the halfback, man. That's going to be pretty awesome, calling his name. But I'm going to say this, though, man. Baylor is like the 800-pound baby right now. It's just waiting to just explode all over everybody right now, man. I got a feeling, we all, like I said, we've been talking about the LSUs and the Miamis and everything. We got to see those guys battle on Monday night, but man, Baylor, I'm really excited to see what Baylor is going to do. They have a lot of guys as well, and I think they can get the job done this year, man. So I really want to see what they do to Ole Miss, and I really hope that they do not take Ole Miss out and slaughter them. But I got a feeling that this team is going to be really great as well, man, on September 7th.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. Baylor's I kind of get the feeling that Baylor's kind of becoming the heel of the RFL, kind of like when Hogan and Macho Man went over to the NWO. So they kind of started out as the good guys and the underdog, and then they started recruiting guys and talking a little trash, and started getting a little blowback, and they kind of are a team that has a little bit of an attitude now too. So that's we'll see if that carries over onto the field. They definitely have the talent to do it. So if they don't have a great season, if they don't come out here and just destroy Ole Miss, and if they don't go on to to have a really good season, that's a huge disappointment and kind of an indictment on the talent on this team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Baylor I think should be able to take this one easily. Definitely a great team with a lot of talent on it and submitted prospects. Ole Miss, I think they're going to be a better team than what they were last year. Of course, we already knew what their situation was with Cameron Dugan last year, who actually got drafted by Rob, but you cut him immediately. Ole Miss, of course, we already know, they had Carlton Scruggs, who was an absolute beast of a receiver, was drafted in the first round of the RFL. But now without him there, we got, let me see here, looking at this list.
Their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they got one new receiver here, Penn Majors. Now, he doesn't fit the same body type or build as Scruggs, so that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But, I still don't think they're going to be able to really match with Baylor, despite even having the home field advantage and everything. So I got Baylor winning that one pretty handedly. And you got something to say, Bigger?
Yeah, they have another great name on the Baylor side too, Blueberry Hill.
Oh yeah,
that's a great name.
That's one of my favorites.
Excellent name. And I see him in the chat. Says go Bears. And for the final game, we might as well call this a national championship game. We got the number 1 ranked team going up against the number 2 ranked team. Clemson is going to travel to Georgia. This is the battle of who's going to be the number 1 ranked team come week 2. Who do you guys think is going to win this one?
I'm going to just throw my little bit in there real quick, man. Is it Fecky?
Mm-hmm.
You got to prove to me that you can step in the shoes and take Clemson back to the promised land, buddy, because I'm not a believer right now, man. I don't believe that Clemson is going to be that team this year, man. I think that this team is going to struggle at the quarterback position, and I think that overall there's a lot more powerhouses out here this year than there were last year, man. I don't think Clemson runs over anybody this year, and that's just my 2 cents.
That would sound like more like $1,000 you just laid on that team. That's crazy. What's your thoughts, Baker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know how long Clemson's going to be in that number one spot. I think Georgia will take him out here this week, and it may be an uphill battle for him the rest of the season. But there's definitely no shortage of talent on either side of the ball here. Clemson has some really great recruits. Georgia does as well. I think it probably comes down to wide receiver, the wide receivers here. And since Clemson has Rochester and I'm probably going to butcher this last name, but Leitner.
I've been trying to figure out how to say his name too, man.
You got it right, in Leitner, yeah.
Leitner.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Rochester at 6'4" with a 99 speed submitted, and Lear at 6'3". The guy can catch, he can run as well. There's a lot of weapons there for Fecky. But I like Kai Cash too, man. I think Kai Cash does a great job. And then they've got the run game as well. So, man, Cam Perkins ran wild in the preseason game. I think that's an early indication of what we can expect out of him for the year. I expect him to have, if he has less than 100 yards a game, that's a disappointment. I think he can put up easily 100, to 150 yards a game.
Yeah. And just to add on to that too, this guy Kai Cash, I keep saying it over and over again, man, but this guy's decision making and awareness is just absolutely just phenomenal, man. Just watching him in that game, man, and I just really like him as a quarterback, and I think that he's definitely going to control this game. And I hope that he can actually be successful against Clemson. I don't remember exactly how great their defense was last year. I mean, obviously they were the number one team, but I think that this guy Cash is somebody to definitely watch in this as well. And also, Baker mentioned the two wide receivers. I do know that they got the wide receivers, but I'm just worried about the quarterback position and whether or not he's going to be able to, get the ball to those receivers early and often without getting under pressure from the Bulldogs, man. So that's definitely going to be one of those games to watch, man.
Now, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, keep an eye on the defensive line, too. Both Georgia and Clemson have really solid defensive ends, Logan Becker and Zach DeFranza. They could be a big difference maker in this game as well if they can get a good pass rush going and get some sacks in this game.
Yeah, and off the rip, I'm just going to go with Georgia here, but I don't think it's going to be as close as much of more in favor of them winning in a blowout. I think it's going to be a really close game. Georgia, I really think they're a very talented team. They have the talent to win this game, and they have the home field advantage. I think that they're going to be able to hold it. But honestly, I won't be surprised at all if Clemson wins because we may be talking about Fecky not being as great as Trevor Lawrence was last year. But one thing, once again, you guys mentioned about his targets, but I think guys are also forgetting about Marlon Marshall, who they got in the backfield at running back. He's the second highest running back rated overall, I think. And the dude is, I think he's going to be as great of a running back this season as Cam Perkins, so that's saying a lot. And honestly, I think a lot of people are also sleeping on Fecky scrambling ability. He's actually pretty decent at getting outside the pocket. He's pretty much like a stick out there. He's only 162 pounds. That's definitely going to have to change when he goes to the RFL. But I really feel like, look, if he can't create things with his arm, which most likely he should have open targets. But then again, let's even towards that fact, Georgia's got two great cornerbacks on the outside too. So, I mean, that's going to be hard for those receivers to have to try to get open as well. So I think it's going to be a constant battle throughout this game. I just feel like Georgia's going to win because they slightly have the better talent. But I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if Clemson ends up pulling off the victory.
That should be a great game, man.
Yeah, that's
excellent. That might be the game of the week there. I almost hope they don't pass the ball a lot because I do want to see Marshall and Perkins both get a lot of carries in this game. Yeah,
who knows? Those could be the number one and number two best running backs in the draft class coming up this year. And I'm not going to, well, from my opinions, that's what I think they might actually be. So we'll have to see if they actually, are consistent and come out that way. We already seen Perkins, and both of these guys had a scrimmage game, didn't they? I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so we didn't really see too much from Clemson, but of course they played when the sliders were a little bit messed up. So we'll have to see what happens there. So that's that's the schedule, guys. I'll be posting this and dropping this down on social media, on our social media accounts after this podcast. But we move on to the next topic, and let's talk a little bit about Madden, man. You guys already know what's been trending. This picture's a little bit fuzzy, but I had to blow it up. But yeah, NFL drop EA was trending. I think Mr. Soft Drink TV started this up with his YouTube channel and everything. What is your guys' thoughts on this as it's been trending? I think it got all the way up to number 2 in America, trending on Twitter at some point.
It's picking up momentum. It had a lot of momentum there at the beginning with Fix Madden franchise, and you're starting to see some videos leak out about glitches and issues the game's already having. So, not surprisingly, there are there's an outcry for some competition for them, but we've been saying that for years now, and nothing's been done as far as getting them some competition. I think they're locked in till when another 3 years with the.
I think they're up to EA. 6. I think 2026.
Okay, yeah, and we don't really know what we're going to get out of 2K, but we know it's not going to be anything on the level of what EA's putting out with this, from a the game gameplay and having the sim style gameplay, but. Who knows, man? I haven't seen any numbers come out as far as sales, but I would imagine they at least took a little bit of a hit. Hopefully they did, because with so many people saying they're not going to buy it, you know how that goes. They usually say it and then don't follow through with it. But hopefully some folks are following through with it, and who knows? Maybe they're finally getting the message, and we'll get some franchise fix maybe.
And just before I let you hop in, Rob, just to even harp on that, that's a big reason on why one of our coaches. Coach Law dropped out as a coach. He didn't even want to buy the game to support EA anymore. And so I guess that's a relevant breaking news topic for us relating to this topic about NFL drop EA. But what's your thoughts on this though, Rob?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm loving the drop EA movement. I'm loving the fix the franchise movement. I'm an addict, man. I'm young at heart, but I'm a Madden addict, man. I've been playing Madden since it might have been like if it was on floppy disk, I had it. You know what I mean? And with that said, this is just terrible, man. The things I'm seeing, and I understand why, why Marshall stepped down. And it's frustrating, and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't play this game. I used to play this game heavy, man, in leagues and everything, but I don't play this game at all. I've actually just dumbed down to just watching the game. I'm very happy with watching it, but something gets to me when I pay $69.99 for a game that I don't play because I can't play it, and then I'm watching it and I'm still seeing things that are wrong with it, and like you guys know, my rants I go on about, packaging. I remember a time when, games came completed, packaged with plastic wrap and seals on them, and there was no patches, to fix these things, and there wasn't any error. There weren't anything wrong with the games back then, and I'm not sure what's happened, with games with EA notoriously. I'm not sure what's happened along the way, man, but it's something systematically wrong that has happened, and I think that we need to get back to football, man. You know what I mean? We got to get back to simulation. We got to get back to franchise mode, back to even play now. The experience of play now should not be arcade. It should not be competitive. It needs to be simulation. And man, they need to start to drop MUT as well, man, because I think that works totally destroyed it. They need to. I told you the other day, so they need to go ahead and make a massive multiplayer online out of MUT. Give it its own application, whatever you want. Give them their own system, their own console, whatever you need. Just get MUT out of here. Get that out of the game, and fix franchise, man. And please do that ASAP so that we can get back, to the game that we all love and grew up on, man. It's a travesty, honestly, man. So that's my 5 cents on it.
I sound a little more like 10 cents.
Yeah.
But yeah. But there's so many people that are passionate about this game, and so many people that have been playing it for generations. And I'm 45. I've been playing it since I was a little bitty kid, and have enjoyed it. And I still get a lot of enjoyment out of the game. It's a different type now. I I don't use their games anymore. One, because I'm terrible on the sticks, but two, I just don't enjoy it, and I don't enjoy playing against other folks the way that this game is set up now. But I definitely agree with you on that, Rob. They need to roll mud out, and I really wish they would consider getting off of this ridiculous annual cycle where they feel like they have to put out a new branded game every year. Make the game, make it right, make it functional, and then roll out updates after that like DLC, but stop putting us through this cycle of having to buy this game once a year, every year, no matter what condition it's in.
I'm not. Oh, my bad, Smitty. Go ahead.
I was about to say, man, for my breakdowns on this, man, I agree with everything you guys are saying. Now, in terms of Madden and the way that we play the game, my opinion right now on Madden 21, CPU versus CPU wise, definitely way better than Madden 20. That's the only plus I'm going to say about this, and that's only for the way that we play the game. Now, when it comes to you actually playing this game, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's the same game. This is why we get pissed off about having to spend $60 for the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Almost came out there for the same stink. Yeah. So I see why people are really pushing this and how it's gotten this far, man. They need to get themselves right with this game, and like you said, man, they could really possibly drop off drop off MUT, man. They really don't need MUT around here. I mean, I guess they do because that's where they make their money at, but they don't need to be on the same game. But I guess that's, if they're going to do it, at least make the franchise right, man. Another big problem I have with Madden is that what Ryan Moody and those guys have been saying about, if this is supposed to be a simulation game, the only simulation game on the market, why are we rolling out all these game modes that are archaic instead of making the part that this game is supposed to be built off a simulation, off of real life football? Instead of making that better first, you rather throw DJ Khaled, Lil Yachty, and all them in the game, putting rappers and all this stuff that doesn't make sense, and we don't even have, contracts right. We don't have so many things. Faces. Like, we've had the same issues for like years, about 10, 15.
You can't even edit your player fully in the franchise. Bro.
Exactly.
Like, my player asked today, can he have his hair edited? Nah, man, we can't do that. It's a pre-shot.
And the sad part about it also is now that I can probably understand why they took the relocation teams out the game, even though to me, I don't think anybody would have found the Conquistadors or the Marshals offensive. But if you're going to take those teams out, why wouldn't you put new teams in? They just took those teams out, did nothing at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I think they
connected with it, man.
It's just simple things in the game, man. Yeah. It's just how they not there, and they can't sit there and say that they don't got space. Look, for guys who do mod the game, and we look at what's behind the game from time to time. There's a lot of things they have sitting behind the scenes that they have no use for at all, but they still have it in the game. Why is it there? If you're talking about space, clear that out and then make something from that. They have so many things that they use back in the old Maddens sitting in the back of the game that aren't even being used, which I don't understand. But what were you going to say, Rob?
I was gonna say earlier, man, that, I'm not an economist or anything like that, man. I don't know about all this business stuff, man. But it would seem to me though, like they could take the MUT, put it, like I say, make it its own app or whatever, something you download. You don't even need physical disc for that, right? You download that, you can do that all day, game microtransactions out the wazoo, right? But it would seem to me like they would take the Madden, and you could actually give all the features of head coach which we've been dying to have, right? You know what I mean? And then charge us $150 and cake upon cake, just make billions off of that because they know we'll buy it. Like I've seen Mitch saying he spends $90 a year on this game. That's unfortunate. You know what I mean? Like people really spend $100 for nothing. You know what I mean? And so package franchise together with the head coach thing and all the features of that, and charge us $149.99, and we're gonna buy it. We're gonna pre-order it. You know what I mean? And you're gonna make triple the amount of money that you would get if then what they're getting right now with just splitting it half and half, and then you got stuff struggling like this is what gets me too, man. I know it'd be long-winded, City, but I'm playing the yard, right? And
Mm.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the quality of the faces on the yard is terrible.
Oh yeah,
Like it's not.
features.
Yeah, it's not even. It's not, and they're trying to hide it with. They're trying to hide it with the face mask and make you think like, oh, we got a new face mask, dude. It looks so blurry. It looks like '08 Madden or '07 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's so blurry on the players' models and everything, and people are just eating that up, man. They're like, oh, this is so cool, and I'm like, yo, it's not even, man. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right there.
And once again, that's not
Crazy.
not simulation, but that's one of their highest things that they're pitching right now just to get money. I've been hearing some news also about possibly Mutt getting shut down this time due to I think they're under a lawsuit or something that's coming or something that's already started with them probably getting rid of Mutt, which is why they're rolling out this this yard stuff, trying to have people still pay for transactions that way. But honestly, man, I think this yard is going to be decent for now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to die off, I think, at some point. And EA is starting to really put themselves in a really bad position right now. And honestly, just pertaining back to this topic of NFL drop EA, what do I feel? I don't feel well. I feel like the NFL should drop EA from the exclusivity license, but still allow just open up the market for people to make games like 2K and other companies possibly. Because if once you allow that competition, I'm gonna be honest here. We may talk all this trash about Madden, but I think once they get that competition, there's not going to be no other game that's going to touch them. Because I think that there's not going to be no other game. They already got the graphics. They already got pretty much things laid out. If they weren't, and I hope I know this doesn't pertain to everybody behind the scenes who's working on Madden right now, but I hope that that they don't stay lazy, man. It's that laziness that's really been killing them with this game, man. But once that goes out the window and they start focusing on this game and just giving the people what they want and being true to the game, then there's nobody touching Madden at that point.
To just a quote, man, for what you just said, it rolls perfectly with it. There's a quote that says, "Familiarity breeds contempt," man. And I really think that EA, man, they're too familiar with us. They know that we're gonna buy it regardless, and because of that, they don't respect us, man. And I think that that's a big issue right there too, man, because they're still making the money regardless. They know that we're gonna buy it, bro, because we're addicted, we're addicts. You know what I mean? And it's just terrible, man.
Yeah. Got anything to say, Baker? Or are you good?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything on that one.
Yeah. So let's get on some some more brighter news. We've introduced this is unfortunate but decent news. We've introduced a new team in the RFL, and we now have the Sacramento Miners due to, of course, EA getting rid of the Mexico City Conquistadors. So, new team in the building. I just looked at this and realized that I did not spell deconstruction. I spelled destruction. But the Sacramento Miners are going to be a new team replacing the Mexico City Conquistadors. And as you can see there, hashtag started up. I said, get ready for what should say minor deconstruction. What's you guys' thoughts on this new team? And just, do you think they'll be a pretty decent team next year, even though there's pretty much the same exact roster as the Conquistadors were?
Go ahead, Baker.
Yeah, I like it. I like the uniforms. Probably like them a little bit better than the Conquistadors uniforms. I'm glad that you decided to keep them in Sacramento. I definitely think that makes a lot more sense, Sacramento Miners.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hadn't told me on your hashtag, I would not have noticed. I just assumed it was supposed to be minor destruction. So
both of them are cool, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should stick with it. It's going to catch on.
Deconstruction's maybe a little bit wordy, right? We got to get with Coach Dunn about this. I asked him when I made this graphic, I said, what type of hashtag do you want to run with this team? And he gave me the deconstruction. I guess I made a even better hashtag on accident here for you.
Yeah. As far as their record goes or their performance, I would imagine it's going to be pretty consistent with, how they performed last year. Like you're saying, same squad, just a new year, but the unis look pretty sweet. I like them.
Yeah, obviously, the snafu with this the Conquistadors being erased out of the existence of the game is just, beyond me. But I'm really happy that we were able to save them. Sacramento is a great, just a great name. I like the Miners. I like the uniforms, as Baker pointed out. Man, I actually think I like these uniforms better than the Conquistadors as well. Um, and yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome, man. Kind of look like Notre Dame a little bit on this poster a little bit here, but yeah, just I'm just glad that we didn't have to go with the Blues, man, or the Redwoods, as someone was talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty awesome. You guys were able to do that, man. Big shout out to all you guys who relocated the teams as well, man. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and I see Coach Dunn in here saying that it was supposed to be destruction. I mean, I don't know if I read it wrong, but I was for sure he put deconstruction. But hey, whichever way you go with it, Coach, either one sounds decent. He's got
Gold Rush sounds good too.
Yeah, Gold Rush. I just try to
Nice.
put something because I was about to say, which I had to go with one of those because he did give me two choices, and I just thought it would sound better to say get ready for minor destruction rather than get ready for Gold Rush. I think the destruction part just sound more amped up for people to get ready for this team. So I went with that. But yeah, he got those two hashtags going. I think
gonna try to draft Xander Gold.
yeah, and just this is a team, new branding, new coach. I think a lot of people are going to be following this team more so than they would probably the Mexico City Conquistadors. So, yeah, I think it was a good move. Can't wait to see what they do, man. And with that being said, that is all we have for the podcast. We now leave it up to the community to go ahead and ask questions in the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer those live here for you. So ask away. Gold helmets them gold helmets are sick though, man. And these guys will still be in the same division. So Blueberry Hill is going to look good in the minor uni. What college games will have commentary? Okay. So you got about to say something, Rob? Or
you can answer that, then I'll ask my question.
okay. So we'll just give a look back at the schedule. So the primetime games will be the ones that will have commentary. So looking at this list, tomorrow's two games will have commentary. It'll be separate though between me and Rob. I'll call the 6 p.m. game. He'll call the 8 p.m. games. I'll call the Ohio State and Oklahoma one, and he'll call the Florida State and West Virginia. Then I'll call the solo game on Friday, the SEC matchup between Texas A&M and Tennessee. Then we have the 7 premier games. Those ones won't have commentary. So all the way from Nebraska, the Nebraska game to the Texas game, those games won't have commentary. They'll just be playing out, with just the regular in-game sound. But then we go back to the rest. Actually, the rest of these games are going to be having commentary. So the Alabama all the way through to the Clemson game. The Clemson and Georgia game will have dual commentary with me and Rob on Tuesday. We're looking to try to have those dual commentary primetime games for you guys on Tuesday. I thought we said another day for it too, Rob, but
yeah, I think I can call that game with you this Friday. But Fridays, like I say, Fridays are hit or miss with me right now. But I should be able to call the Tuesday game with you, definitely.
Okay, so possibility that Texas A&M and the Tennessee game might have dual commentary too, but the pretty much championship game for week 1, Clemson and Georgia game, that game will have dual commentary.
We got a question here from East Coast Gaming. What is the San Antonio Marshals new team?
That team will be released later on. We already chose a team for that. We'll make that announcement, put out a nice little graphic just like we did here for the Miners to make that announcement to Coach. I left it up to Coach Rummel to make his choice. And, of course, like I said, that will be announced later on.
So if the Conquistadors end up getting put back into the game, are we going to go back to the Conquistadors, or are they going to just stay the Miners from here on
out? I wanted the Conquistadors to come back, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of people really rocking with the Miners right now. We'll have to see. I really don't know. And make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. Got 50 plus viewing right now. So we got 31 likes.
Many questions tonight, man.
Yeah, not too many. I guess we answered most of them. So He says, when is West Virginia article going to be posted on the website? You would have to, you probably talk with Bill about that because he posts up the articles and things like that on the website. So make sure you get with Bill on that to see when that will be dropped.
Will there be a mid-season evaluation of college players? Yeah, we tend to week 6. We do tend to do. I'm pretty sure the podcast will be geared around that. And there is. I think are you doing a slight progression to some players?
Yeah,
Steve?
some players are going to get progressions. I think
Mm-hmm.
at that time mid-season, but for the most part, yeah, like we're not going to be really going all the way in depth with all the players. We'll be doing that every week, pretty much in a podcast, based on how you guys perform. We're not going to go through and say, "Oh, what do you think about this guy?" or evaluations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to happen throughout the season. So that's how you get your coverage. You got to make plays, of course, in the game.
Um, do you guys plan on commentating on any Michigan games? Nope, we're not calling any Michigan games. Um, and we're just going to roll those to the 10 p.m. game where no one is going to watch those at all. Yes, we will be calling Michigan games at some point. It's just all random with the schedule.
Yeah, the schedule pretty much, for the most part, we start out the first 3 weeks we'll have 16 games. So every college team will play, and then we start getting bye weeks all the way up until week 12, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So from that point, we'll have pretty much ranging from 15 to 14 games. So yeah, we should be able to cover everybody with commentary.
Thank you, Corey Poley. I was just joking with you. He says, "Love hearing you guys talk in the game. Makes it so much better." We appreciate that, man. That's what it's all about, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Chris Park says, "Do rankings drop every or each week?"
Yes, rankings will be changed up each week. I'll use the same graphic if I come up with something better later on. But I don't like making too many different graphics each week. We like to keep it the same, but we will be dropping that every single week. So I'll have to come up with what the new rankings are quickly and just dropping those so you guys will be able to keep up with that. But yeah, that will be on our social media accounts.
Coach back. We will be filling the new vacancies. We have a list of guys in the email, I believe, that still need to be reached out to. So we will be attempting to fill those vacancies there. Mitch wants to hear your top 10 prospects, Baker.
Top 10. Oh yeah, I've got them handy right here. So number 1 is Tyreek Bridges, cornerback for USC. At number 2 was Lito Loso. He was the number 1 there for a long time until Tyreek put his player in there. Of course, Lito's cornerback as well for Miami.
Mm-hmm.
At number 3, and the first quarterback is Leo Moon, West Virginia. Number 4 is wide receiver Julius Castillo. At number 5, we've got a cornerback out of Ohio State, Jordan Grace. Another DB out of Baylor this time, Blueberry Hill, is at number 6. Our second quarterback at number 7, Owen Jack at Oregon. We've got Amir Williams at number 8 out of Miami. And number 9, Corey Polly out of Michigan. And rounding out the top 10, Ashton Collins, halfback out of Auburn.
Nice. Giving away your draft board there, Baker.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, well, a lot can happen between now and then.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I'm hoping there are 200 and some odd guys that prove all of my number crunching wrong, and we get some really great performances out of everybody across the board. I think we'll get some big surprises out of a lot of guys, and there's a handful of them that I didn't have rated because I didn't see their final submissions. So guys like Eric Dansby, wide receiver out of Michigan, Nick Webster, wide receiver out of West Virginia, Jermaine Taylor, defensive tackle out of Georgia, Quentin D, tight end out of Washington State, but I'm assuming he's a tight end, so I'm assuming he's ranked pretty high, or his overall's pretty high. I know this class has a lot of really good tight ends. Daryl Johnson, quarterback out of Oklahoma, don't have anything on him. Joseph Fontes, quarterback out of Utah, and Darius Meadows, halfback out of LSU. Oh, and Jaquan Taylor Luby outside linebacker out of Georgia. So those are some of the guys that were the unknown for me. They could definitely come in and have great seasons as well, depending on what their submitted attributes were.
Mm-hmm. And I see people asking about Castillo. He transferred to Wisconsin. So Wisconsin got okay. There you go, Bill. Yes, sir.
Thomas Didymus asked, will there be end of the season superlatives? I assume he means praise or awards, I guess.
Awards.
Is what you're
For awards, we're definitely going to come up with awards this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. What we're going to probably do is for the first, I think we already have listed names for those awards. We'll make sure to have awards though this year. Forgot to do that last year because we were in a crunch for time to hurry up and start up for the RFL season. But because we're on time and everything with this college series, we have about 2 weeks before the next season starts up for the RFL. So because of that, we definitely should have time to squeeze in an award video for you guys.
Nice. Carl Weezer says, how do you win a prospect? Mail me $1,000 for a chance at winning Lito Loso off of Miami. Let's see. You submit players through our website. It's $5, but right now that's capped because we're in the series right now. That should open back up in January. Let's see. Next question. Okay, yes, about Castillo. That's there. And anything else? I think 2 of these. No. If a team with less prospects jumps up in the ranks, would you commentate on that team? I think we do. Yeah, we do adjust the games. It's not just based on the so Smitty doesn't just call the games based off of the prospects. We try to call all the games because we know that we realize we have fans of some of these teams who don't even care about the players on them, just want to see their team. So we do try to make that as even as possible, but sometimes that's very, very difficult to do based off of the importance of some of the games. So we don't mean to snub anybody, but we do try to call all the games. Yep.
I see someone ask. I see Ray Brown asking. Yeah, you cannot play more than one season in the college series. Only one and done. That way, we don't want any spots being taken for the next people who are applying. You got to make your case for the RFL and one season in the college realm of the RFL College Series. So no staying for another year.
A too early Natty prediction. Oh, I hate those.
Well, how about we do who do you think is going to be ranked 1 through 4? Well, what 4 teams you think is going to make up those teams that go to the playoffs? So let's do that instead, because I really don't know who is going to be at the Natty right now, but I think Georgia's definitely going to be a top 4 team. Clemson might, but I think LSU's going to be in there. That's just 2 off the top of my head right now, man. I really can't think right now.
I've seen 6 games already, guys, and I know the outcomes. So I'm not going to say anything. Sorry. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Hey, shoot, Bama could be in there too. So that's 3. I can't even come up with a 4th.
Hey, roll tide.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no surprise here. Texas is definitely going to be in the top 4. 1 because I'm a homer, but 2 because man, they played so well in that preseason game. Again, I know it's preseason, but they've got a lot of talent on that team with the 13 submitted prospects, and I've got all of those 13 prospects rated pretty high. Past that, man, it really could be anybody. It's so soon in the process and too early to tell. But what I will do is give you some sleeper teams that I think can definitely finish in the top 5. I think West Virginia can finish up there. Again, I'm high on Leo Moon. I think a quarterback can carry a team. I think a quarterback can put up points and do a lot to win the games. It's going to come down to that defense, though, if they can hold teams under 20, 25 points a game.
Not getting to cut you off, though, but I know Rob's not going to like this. West Virginia was actually pretty decent, too, last year. They beat Bama twice, and they beat them in a bowl game.
Oh, had to say it. Had to bring it out, didn't you?
Had to. Go ahead, Vicar.
So West Virginia, Texas, USC, I mentioned them earlier. Again, 12 submitted prospects. I think they've got a lot of talent on that team. So those are some sleepers. I've got Penn State high on the board for prospect ranking. They only had 6 submitted prospects, but they're a very talented group. Quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, middle linebacker, free safety, and strong safety. So they've got guys at positions that can make a difference. And the fact that I've got them rated pretty high as far as their submitted attributes go, that could translate into a lot of wins for them. And they don't be surprised if you see them in the top 5, or at least knocking on the door to the playoffs here at the end of the season. And if I had to go with one more, kind of a sleeper pick, I would probably go with Michigan. Only 7 submitted prospects, but again, some very good talent on that team. Quarterback, receiver, 2 receivers, quarterback, halfback, and then on the defensive side of the ball, defensive tackle, outside linebacker, and they got a kicker. They have one of 4 kickers on the team, so who knows, that might make a difference. But yeah, I think they're definitely a sleeper team as well. Have high expectations for that team.
Nice. See, we got some more questions rolling in now. It's starting to warm up.
Is this Ray Brown, Hustle or Nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Ray. Yeah, if you go undrafted, you can make another player, but you can't use the same name. I don't think.
Yeah,
correct?
you can make a new player. You can't use the same player. Julian Barnes did this, but his player got kicked out of the league pretty much because he was in free agency. Nobody signed him, and he made his same player on Clemson, but that's the only time anything like that's going to happen. So that doesn't fly. But yeah, you can make a new player.
You got to be top ashtray to not get drafted. I said ashtray. Oh boy. Anything else? What about UCLA? I think they were a sleeper team. Yeah, they might be. You never know, man. Watch Saturday.
Yeah, I think they could be too. Smitty, I think you had them ranked though around 10, maybe.
Yeah, right at 10.
So probably not surprising too many folks if they get up into that top 4, 5, 6 area. But definitely some talent on there. Chandler Godspeed, very solid tight end. Isaiah King Hens Jr. at wide receiver. You got Willie Nelly, who showed out in the preseason game. DeForest King at free safety. Jace Worth, who I think had a pretty solid outing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And several other guys in my top 100: Jacoby Jose, Don Dang, Matthew Hallman, Jake Newhall, and Prince Potter, kind of rounding out guys on that team that are in my top 100. So
Another thing,
they could definitely make some noise.
Prince Potter actually transferred. He reached out to me. That's another thing I gotta. Thank God you said that, because I almost forgot about that. Yeah, he transferred out of UCLA. Let me see where he went, because I didn't even put that on the list.
I would create a 6'6", 270-pound halfback named Bay Round. And we'll take the $5 and deny the application immediately.
Yeah. Be realistic with your submissions, or it's going to definitely cost you. I'm telling you.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think I inherited a DB that was a guy kind of like that. And Okoye, I think somebody told me he was submitted as a 300+ pound strong safety.
Actually, he was 298, 298 pounds, man. But I guess he wanted to say he was that busky that that he had all that weight, but I was like, oh no. So, but he's cracking dudes now. So I guess he's not too bad. But that's why his overall and his dev wasn't that high, because you're not going to see no pretty much 300-pound safety out here making plays.
Well, he slimmed down quite a bit.
Oh yeah, he's like 250 something now, right? Linebacker size.
I think he's 245.
Oh, 245? Okay.
And actually, he may be 250 even.
Yeah, I think he might be 250. Either way, that's still a heavy boy at safety.
Yeah. Well, you won't see him there next season.
Ghost Dog says, where can I sign up next year? Ghost Dog, all of our signings or all of our applications, you just go to the website, relocationfootballleague.com, But right now, the applications are closed because we're in the college season, so you'll have to wait until the beginning of January. The first day of January is when that opens back up for the following season, which will start next. Was it August? Yeah, August, September.
Yeah, and get in early on that. I
Yeah.
think Smitty, you can talk to this, but you probably do it the same way as this season. The guys that submit first get first dibs on
Yep.
college commitments.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you want to make sure you're in the best position to be able to hold down the college you want to go to, y'all gotta hop on that as soon as it opens. And I think what I'm gonna just do is just open it the first of every new year.
Hmm. And watch the floodgates
Yeah,
open as everyone comes in.
this is our
Well,
biggest draft class, man. Even when we had it free, this is the biggest
yeah.
draft
Yeah.
class we've had.
Right. It's exclusive now, man. You know that $5 is exclusive. Cats
Hey,
are like, whoa, you ain't
yeah.
got $5? Shame,
Hey,
shame in the
Smitty,
world.
remind me, is there a cap on that? Is there only so many that you can accept prospects?
Yeah, so there are caps for positions. There's only also a certain amount of prospect, like you were saying. Once all the positions are pretty much filled that are possible within the draft class for Madden, then I have to shut it down. Definitely don't want anything, more than what a draft class can hold to be there. We got 32 quarterbacks. That honestly might be a problem for next year. Could be a problem this year. There wasn't even enough quarterbacks in the draft class I started making on Madden 21 so far. So I have to create them out of other positions. So with that, I think I might have to cap that or just keep it at 30. I said 31, 32. But I'll have to see. But yeah, there's definitely a limit to the amount of people who can become part of the college series. What we can do is if we do get a boost up to that big staff enough to have just about every FBS college team for the college series to be usable, then we can have it where it's unlimited amount of players, and we'll have to choose based off of performances who makes up the draft class. So that could be something to look forward to in the future, possibly.
Hey,
This
the
is a great,
RFL needs O linemen.
Definitely.
definitely. Maybe Bay Round can become a lineman.
There you go.
So, is there a full schedule with official times and dates, home and away information? I don't think there's a full schedule right now, guys. I'm gonna just put it out there, man. And it may be too late for this, but if you want to try it, for those of you guys who are pretty good, man, with graphics and stuff like that, man, if you want to try to make a schedule for us, a full schedule, we will accept it, man. But it has to be sweet. It can't be, foggy, cloudy, and looking crazy and everything. But if you have time to make a full schedule, man, with all the bells and whistles, it looks good, graphically nice, it's got the logos and stuff. Please, by all means, go ahead, man, and we definitely will use that. The issue for us, man, is we just don't have the time. We got so much stuff going on. We'd love to have that for the RFL season as well. We can get you guys the screenshots of the schedules and stuff already.
Now, just so they don't get confused, though, Rob, we're not telling you guys. We already have the schedule on who's playing who done.
Yeah.
We have that.
Yeah.
He's just talking about a one graphic that literally
Yeah.
shows every team's
Everything.
schedule.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and so if you can do that for the college series, that would be awesome. I was actually just about to say do it for the RFL, but I'm not sure if we're not going to the PC or not. So I don't think I should tell them to do that. If we go to the PC, it'll be a different schedule.
Yeah.
That might not be a good idea. But for the college series, if you want to do that and put that together, man, awesome, do it. Just make sure it's on one page, and that's what's up, man. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen some good ones out there. There's a lot of guys out there that are putting out the individual college schedules, and some of them look really good. So yeah, jump on that.
Definitely. Let's see.
Another thing is pertaining towards the schedules. I forgot. I got to make sure to remember to do this. I'll try to see if I could do this later on after I drop everything else on the social media accounts with the schedule and everything. But we do have a website. I'll have to drop the links for you guys who are outside of the Discord to use so you can actually see, because we already have the schedule for every team right now already mapped out. What we have to do, though, is be able to put it in the guys who aren't in the Discord's hands so that you guys can be able to look at that too, so you know who's playing who. The times aren't correct yet on there, and I don't know if I'll have the time to ever really be able to get to that. If I do, then I'll get it done. But that's where you have to look forward to the week schedule on when those games are going to be played. Just know that that's who you're playing week 2, week 3, and etc. But yeah, if you want to know who your team that you're following in this college series is playing, make sure to look out for that website link that I'm going to try to drop here tonight if I remember it.
Nathan, conquistadors were just taken out. We don't know why they were taken out, man. I don't know. Someone slipped, and deleted them out of the game for whatever reason. So probably so they could put Oakley visors in the game.
Probably. Yeah. All right, so that's it for the questions, or?
Yeah, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be it here for the podcast. We appreciate all you guys coming through. Once again, another quick look at the schedule. I'll be posting this on the social media accounts where you guys will be able to look at it. Appreciate you guys coming through. It's your boy Smitty, RFL Commissioner and play-by-play commentator, joined here with our special guest, Coach Baker and Rob. Yes, so big shout out to you guys. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Ohio State-Oklahoma and the Florida State versus West Virginia game. Until then, peace.